Welcome to another episode of Killing the Game with Craig Martinez, and I hope you enjoy this interview with Mark Bookstein, who is the CEO and founder of Title Guaranty here in South Florida, and he is killing the game with over 10,000 real estate transactions to date. Okay, so let's get right into it, Mark. Tell us a little bit about what it was like growing up. Where were you born?
I was born in Florida. I moved pretty much at a young age. Moved right to Boston. Grew up there. We went around town to town kind of. We were a low income family,
Oh,
and
okay.
we moved town to town until we got situated in a little town in Boston. And I grew up most of my younger years there. My mom kind of raised me there. She worked nights, and that's kind of where it all started from there.
So in Boston, and
Yeah.
so so you were born in South Florida, moved to
Raised in
Boston. How
Boston.
old were you when you moved to Boston?
Five range, four or five.
And
Yeah.
how long did you stay up there?
I came back in my teenage years here. So I came back here in eighth grade. So I don't know, 14, 15 years old, something like that.
Oh, okay. So you're 14. You're here in South Florida, and so what was school like? Did you end up graduating high school
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
average
I
student?
went to high school. I graduated high school. From there, I kind of, didn't know what I was going to do.
Were you like an A student, B student? Were you good or?
My early years of high school were good. Middle years were kind of down, and then the end, I finished strong. I was a strong finisher. At the
Oh, you're
end.
strong.
Yeah,
Of
yeah,
course, you're a closer, right?
yeah,
Cleaner.
closer, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the cleaners always
yeah,
finish strong.
yeah. I got it together.
So you finished high school, unlike me. So you beat me
Yeah,
there.
right.
And did you go to college?
I went junior college mostly, and then I had junior college for business.
Okay.
And trying to find my way and figure out what I was going to do and kind of go from there. And while I was in and out, I kind of, I want to do this 1 month, that 1 month. And then from there, I kind of,
Like
got
every college
right.
student, they
And
don't
then
really
I kind
know
of,
where they want to be.
yeah, kind of went from there.
So you went to college. Did you graduate college?
No, never finished.
How much time did you spend in college?
3 years.
3 years.
Years,
Oh,
yeah,
okay. So you
yeah.
did the 3 years and then
yeah,
just
yeah.
couldn't
I just,
stick it out the
my
other way.
path led me another way, and I went from there.
So then so walk us through now. You're out of college.
Mm-hmm.
When did you get into the real estate? Did you get right into real estate right after college?
No, I went into the mortgage industry. I got
okay.
a job at the bank in
too.
and yeah, I was lucky enough to. I was young. I was one of the youngest people at the bank. I got a job at a bank in Palm Beach County. But kind of right when I got that job is when my health issues started when I was younger. And from months of in and out of the hospital, they couldn't hold a job for me anymore. So I had to go to kind of plan B from there.
Wow. So how long were you? What was the time frame that you were in and out of the hospital?
It was a 2 to 3 year span of in and out, 4 months at a time. And I'd get, my health wasn't good for a while until I got a handle on everything. It was a rough, I couldn't really hold the job down because I couldn't work.
You were young too.
I was
So that
young.
must have
So
been pretty.
it was
How
tough.
was that dealing with that mentally going through?
I had a lot
health
of hard
issues?
days. It was rough. We there was times when my family didn't know if I'd make it through, and it was kept alive by PICC lines to the heart and blood transfusions, and
Wow. So you
it
were
was-
like a near death
we're
experience.
as close as I don't know. I'm sure there's closer, but as close as I want to come to it. It was some rough nights in the hospital, just kind of
Wow.
seeing where I was going to go from there.
And I think it's amazing to see where you're at today.
Yeah.
To have gone, I would have never known had you not told me that you went
Yeah.
through that when we talked in a prior conversation.
Yeah.
So now you're in and out of the hospital. You're how old now?
I'm in my 20s.
You're in your 20s.
Uh-huh.
So you get out and you got into the mortgage business.
Got in the mortgage business. That's when I was in the hospital, I was in the mortgage business, and I
Oh,
lost a
you
job.
lost a job.
I lost a job. I just couldn't hold it for me any longer.
So what did you end up doing after you got healthy?
I got kind of went into the family business, but we were father was a law firm that did title, and they were they were in Fort Lauderdale a little bit when I was younger. Then they moved to Palm Beach County in Boca Raton and Palm Beach County Range. So I worked there. I did title searches. I learned, got licensed and did all the title searches. I did examinations. I worked for other title companies and did title searches. So back then there wasn't a lot of people that knew how to do the searches manually. So when you need them really fast, I was able to do them. So I kind of got my niche there going, and started learning the title business from there. I started I was the courier. I did everything at the low.
Were you
low range.
were you working with your dad?
I
at
was
the time?
working with him at the time. He had a couple of title girls. They weren't doing much business, and I was kind of learning.
So you were in the beginning.
I was a low end of the. I was just doing whatever they told me to do.
And did you end up staying with him, or did you?
I stayed there. I stayed there for 3 or 4 years. Kind of learned the business, and learned what to do and what not to do, and kind of got my experience and my everything I could from there.
Were you learning, because you were, I know when we spoke earlier, you were telling me you learned how to do the title searches,
right?
All of the liens and the
Right.
searches that are involved in closing a real estate transaction. Did you also learn sales as well, like selling at that point?
I think I landed one. I think I had one account that I brought on all those years. I just wasn't getting it back then. It took me a couple of years to figure out enough confidence to sell I could do the business, but I couldn't sell the business.
Okay.
I didn't know how to talk the talk. I didn't know how to get out there and sell my business correctly. I wasn't confident enough.
So now
Yeah.
you had told me that you actually decided to leave that family
Right.
business and go on your own. So
Right.
tell us about that
We,
process.
at the time I wanted to go on my own. I think we're doing maybe 3 or 4 closings a month. I approached my family, said I was going to go on my own. They told me it wasn't a good idea. When look where we're at now, it's not going to get any better. And I said, you know what, I'm going to still go on my own. So I ended up, with their blessing, I ended up opening up my own title company in the Hollywood area. And
How did that feel, though, going out on your own and taking that chance and taking the risk? How did
It
feel?
was exciting and it was scary and it was just, it was. I still remember, furnishing the office, going to used furniture places, having a budget of like $400 for the furniture of the whole office, and it was exciting.
What
Yeah. Yeah.
was the push for you? What got you to the point where you told Dad, "Look, I like working with you.
Yeah.
I'm sure, I don't know if you did or didn't, but I like working with you, but I want to go on my own." What was that? What pushed you to make that move?
I don't know. I always wanted to have my own business, and I loved title. And I knew title was where I wanted to be, and this was my shot. Life's, I feel like life's about, you got to take your shot. You can be like, if you're going to look back and say, I wish I would have done that. I wish I didn't. I thought that was my window, and I wasn't going to take no for an answer. And I did it. I took it. I don't want to sit there and say, oh, man, I had the opportunity. I just didn't take it. So I took it. Yeah.
And so what was that like in the beginning when you started your own business?
We were in a very bad area of Hollywood. I couldn't afford much rent. It was kind of like almost, the office was like, here you go, kid, here's your office and good luck. And I think my rent was like $400 a month or something. Run down. It couldn't be any worse as aesthetically for a title company.
And so,
Yeah.
but now you're doing title closings. Were you doing closings at the location there in the rough area?
Process pros. I was every person. Now I look back, our company, we have a lot of employees now. I did all their jobs myself.
One man
show.
Yeah.
I never told anybody that. I was a post-closing department. I was a processing department. I was a closing department. I was a recording department. I did everything by myself. When I did start to pick up some business, I wouldn't let them come to the office. It was just, I felt like if the clientele came and saw and brought their clients to my office, they probably wouldn't come back. So I let them know that our conference rooms are always booked, but I can always go to them. So I was a mobile closer also.
So you always were booked at the office
at the
there,
time.
but
we want 2 o'clock
closings
on the Tuesday. Oh no, we got closings that time, but I can send someone to you.
So you were the title search, lien search, post-closer, pre-closer, appointment setter.
Yeah.
You went and did the mobile
I did
closings.
everything.
And then there's paperwork that has to be done after the fact that has to be submitted to the insurance company. What was that like doing that all by yourself?
We weren't that busy. I worked day and night. I think I tell the story all the time. The first 7 years on my own, no vacations. I know people say no days off. They have these slogans and these hashtags. I took no days off.
Wow. So you lived it.
Yeah, I lived it. I took 7 years straight of just never taking a day off. I worked weekends if I had to. It was hard work, but it got me. It was something that I had to do. I knew this was my shot, and I wasn't gonna.
But you were doing your own thing.
Right.
You're working for yourself, so there was a reward you felt for that because it was your baby, right?
Right. Yeah.
So take us, because now you're a super successful operation now, doing 1,200 closings. I don't want to even think of the real estate calculation that is, but that's got to be a couple of $100 million a year,
Yeah.
just transactions that come in through your office now.
Yep.
You're doing how many deals at this point now? You're by yourself. You're doing how many deals a month, roughly on an average?
Maybe 4 or 5 a month. I had some good sale prices. We had some larger account. Like I had one account that did the sports players, and if they ever knew where it was being processed, God knows what they would think. But we had some larger, but I was probably doing 4 or 5 closings a month by myself.
So how did you? So now, what was the transition for you? You went from doing by yourself, you're doing 4 to 5 deals per month. What was the next thing that happened for you?
I was probably there for three or 4 years, and I kind of just said, you know what, if I'm gonna ever grow, it can't be here. I have to take that shot, and I have to take the plunge of increasing the rent, increasing the payroll, I had to take my shot because I was getting stagnant there. I couldn't grow the business there anymore. I couldn't have clientele there. I had to go to somewhere where I could grow the business. So I took the shot.
What was the trigger for you to be able to make that decision to go from, okay, I'm here, I'm not growing anymore.
Right.
How do you make that? How does one make that decision? I know there's a lot of entrepreneurs right there. They're at a place in their business and they're stuck. How do they make that switch to, it's a risk, it's a jump, it's a chance you have to take?
I've made 2 or 3 office moves like that because my move after the plantation was the same way. I just go for it, and I know if I work hard and I push and I push and I push, it'll happen. So,
I was recently talking about this quote that I heard on a video that I was watching, and it was Michael Jordan he was saying, hard work eliminates fear.
Yeah.
So you were putting in all this hard work. It seems like you could relate to that. You were putting in so many years of work and so much grind that you've become a master at this point. You've already did the 10,000 hours that turns you into an expert in your industry. And so you've already went through the grind, and now you're at a place where you're just there's just less fear. You're more fearless because you've put in all this grind over the years, and you felt like maybe that was probably the reason why you're able to take that chance, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was ready. It was time. And the same time I was doing what I was doing, I was married. My wife was working at another title company. So she was gaining experience also, and we would talk all the time about what I was going through, what she was going through, and she always just say, "Bring me on," and I couldn't afford to bring on another employee. It was just me. I couldn't even pay my wife. She was making whatever she was making. It wasn't a lot, but I couldn't even pay that salary. So I told her, when I make this move, I'm going to bring you on, and we're going to go for it together.
Yeah, she had better been the first employee.
Right. She was my first real employee they brought. We had a pre-processor we brought in too, but she was my first. So we got in there and we moved the plantation together. And from there, we grew. Now, in the early years, even working in our other office, we didn't, it was a struggle. Before we went there, when I was in the other office, my wife had to work, she sometimes had to work 2 jobs. It was hard. It was hard to make a living in title.
So now you move your office from Hollywood, where you're doing a few deals a month on your own, 1-person show. You finally say it's time to make the move. You make the move to plantation. You roll the dice. You take the risk, but you're going to put in that hard work.
Right.
And so now this is before the crash, right? So you're doing how much business at this point?
Remember, up to 20s. It was 20s or 30s a month. Refis, purchases.
So it's like a 4x increase in business.
Yeah, it was there. I was learning how to market our company a little better. And get out there more and show people that who we are, but there were still these larger title companies that were getting a majority of the business, and the little guys like myself or whoever it was, we do what we could. We tried to stay afloat, and
so now you went through the crash now.
The crash.
How did that affect you?
When I moved to plantation, I think I was there for a little while, and then it crashed. It stopped. The orders stopped coming in. It went from whatever that was, 30 a month, to maybe 1 or 2 if I got lucky.
Wow.
And
how did you survive that?
In the beginning, it was shock. I always tell the same story all the time. I remember I went home and I said, we're probably going to lose this house, and we're going to, I didn't see how it could get better. I was watching banks go out of business every minute, and it took about 2 weeks for me to kind of pull myself together. That's probably the longest time for me. Felt sorry for, I took about 2 weeks, got up and said, if someone's going to do it, someone's going to make money in this business, it's going to be me. And I'm not going to quit, and I'm going to do whatever I have to do. And even in a bad market, somebody's making money somewhere. So there's some opportunity somewhere. And if it's real estate based and it needs title insurance, we're going to do it. And we just, and there became, we started, I fell into an accidental, well, it wasn't called a short sale back then, but it was a short pay. So we did a short pay for a local bank, and they didn't know what it was either at that time. So we did that, and it ended up being what's called a short sale now. And from there, I said, you know what, this isn't bad. This is going to be happening to a lot of people.
So you found a niche in short selling,
sales,
which was before really anyone was
They didn't have departments in short sales. They didn't know what a short sale. There was no one profiting off short sales. There was no conferences about short sales. It didn't exist to anybody.
So it's like you were first to market.
First to market. So we lucked into one. And then from there, I started marketing agents and banks saying, listen, if you have these listings and, prices were plummeting. People were running. So you can imagine every listing was a short sale back then. So I went to a bank. I went to a local bank that let us kind of do their short sale processing on our end for them. And then I went to local agents, and 4 or 5 months in, we're up to over 252 short sale offices opened.
Wow. No shortage of success. There's always an opportunity
always.
Within all these challenges, markets falling apart, businesses are going out of business. I remember, and I was in the mortgage business as well for a short time before the crash, but these mortgage companies as well were going out of business left and right. But the ones that stuck it through were the ones that built bigger databases of clients, and they're much more successful now, like you, sticking it through in the title company. Even though times got tough, you stuck it through, and now you're doing, let's kind of fast forward to, where you're at today. You're doing 120 deals a month. You were pre-crash. You were doing, I think, 30 deals a month, and
if that, some months often, yeah.
So that's you. So how did you get to that? How did you increase your business so much? What are some of the things that you can share with those that are watching? How you were able to increase your business going through the crash, coming on the other side, and becoming successful and growing your office even bigger. Now I know you got a new facility.
Right. We're successful. It's customer service all the way. It's being there for the good and the bad. I mean, in real estate, you have your ups and downs. Every closing's a challenge. We truly care. I mean, I'm not going home and blocking out that day. I'm there strategizing how to get these transactions closed. I'm not the guy that just hangs up the phone and moves on to the next. I'm truly in it with the client or the investor or whoever else is trying to profit from that closing or even just sell their house, buy their house, whatever that aspect of the real estate transaction is. I'm in it with them. I care just like they care. You're just not a person or you're not just at closing, another closing. I'm in it with you. I truly care about that transaction. And we get the joy of the transaction for me is getting that end of the road, that paycheck, that wire. And that's what we're all here for.
I know you told me in a prior conversation, actually we were speaking earlier, there was 3 keys that you had mentioned. I was going to remind you if you don't mind, but you said work harder. And this is the advice that you would give new entrepreneurs that were where you were at when you were in your office where I was at when I had my 10 by 10 foot square home, 10 by 10 foot square home office. Let's say that right. That's going to be an edit, unfortunately. When I had my small office, there's people that are there now. And you said to me that you would tell them to work harder and work smarter than the next person. Constantly look to work harder and smarter than the next person, and to have a mindset of no days off. No. You also said enjoy the rush. In sales, especially, the highs are really high, and then the lows tend to be really low, right?
Yeah, of course.
You would agree?
Yeah. No, I love the fight of the business. Every day is a new day. You're only as good as your last deal to some people, so you have to make sure it's perfection. With realtors, we're referral based. So if that transaction and that closing room isn't perfect for that realtor, you might not see another file from that realtor again. If they don't get a file in, they're not going to recommend us again. They're going to say that title company, the end result wasn't good, I can't use them again. So we have to make sure that the end result is the clientele is happy, the realtor is happy. So that realtor will get more referrals, therefore will give us more title business. So we build it on the best customer service possible, and being there for the clients day and night. I mean, I get phone calls Saturday and Sunday. My cell phone is easy. You ask for it, you get it. You email me on the weekend, you get a response on the weekend. I'm there.
You're available.
Because
you make yourself available.
Realtors work weekends. Investors work weekends. You have to be there.
I've always noticed the top salespeople. I grew up in the automotive industry for 15 years. I've been in real estate now I got a good, if you want to go back to my first investment, over 10 years now. The best salespeople or the biggest earners always tend to be the most available. Like if you call them on the phone, they're always on the phones. They're always answering their phones, answering the texts, answering their emails. They're always available. I think that is one of the keys to make yourself aware of as a salesperson, as a business, because any business owner, we're all salespeople. Because we're selling a product or we're selling a service, is to do what you just said, is to be available, to make yourself available. Let me ask you, Mark, what would you say, we're going back now, you started Title Guaranty 19 years ago. You've been 19 years strong. You've more than 10x the business in that time frame, twice over. What would you say is the key to your success, and what is your why?
Oh God, my key is I don't sit back and say, look at this, look at me, I've done this. I would truly wake up every morning like it's like I have to start over again. Like it's, the fight of it. And I wake up every morning with almost like a pit in my stomach saying, this is, I have to work extra hard today. I have to get up and do this. It's the fear of almost being,
fear of losing
or failing. And I get up every morning and I get up and I get to work and I start over again, because every day in this industry is definitely different. I mean, I know people say that, but there's no 2 days alike in real estate. Every
transaction stands alone.
Every stands alone. There's a new problem, and there's a new good thing, there's a new bad thing, and they're all different.
Would you say that you kind of self-impose fear on yourself to get you going and get you excited? You put that pit in your own stomach?
And I've talked to other people, and what I do, it's that rush we get from. We call it like almost the juice of everything. It's that rush that we get from the industry. The industry gives it to you. I always say I'd miss it. I love it. I love the everyday. I love the fight of it. It's something that I do for free. Awesome. I really would.
That's great. Yeah. For those that are watching, any final thoughts?
For my industry is work harder, and it's a hard business. Market yourself. Learn how to market yourself. They're not going to see you sitting in your office. You have to get out there and market your company. And if you do good work and good service, you'll get there. It's there. Every file has to be a fight, and you can't just put a file to the side that may be too hard to work on. And I don't know if that's going to close. Let's put that to the side. You have to push through that file. That's what gets your reputation. How many files a month that we get that are sitting out of their title companies that they're just sitting there because their title company doesn't have time to touch them. They don't think it's going to close. And when you get handed a file like that from a realtor says, listen, this has been at ABC title for 2 months. They're telling me it can't close. Can you do it? And you close it. That's a client for life.
Oh man, yeah, that's a deal.
So I'd say, give me your hard files. Give me your stuff that's sitting somewhere else. Give me your stuff that has judgments, liens. I'm going to get it done.
So you're not afraid to take on the hard stuff.
No, my staff.
It's a challenge to you.
Our staff is built for that. We have departments that are built for the stuff that no one else can close. And that when you close something for that company, that agent, that hedge fund, they're going to use you again. And so we have to have the staff. I can't do it without my staff. My staff is the best in the business as far as I'm concerned.
Oh man, that's great. Great content. Thanks. Yeah. Appreciate you stopping by, Mark. That was great content, my man.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this interview. Please be on the lookout for weekly content here on my YouTube channel. Also, check me out and follow me on Instagram @TheRealFlipBoss for daily content. Thanks again.